In 1815, a Spanish galleon sank off the coast of Marinduque, carrying what the manifest listed as routine cargo. 200 years later, deep-sea divers found it. Inside the wreckage, 22 tons of pure gold, 4,000 pieces of Ming Dynasty porcelain, and 127 chests of uncut gemstones. The estimated value today, $47 billion, from one ship. But here's what made historians rewrite everything. Spanish records show 417 galleons sailed from Manila to Acapulco between 1565 and 1815. Only 108 made it. That means 309 ships, each loaded with Philippine treasure, are still at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. And what Spain actually stole and successfully transported. A number so massive that economists say it would make the Philippines the richest nation on Earth today. $3 trillion. And I have the receipts. Before we go further, our goal on this video, to get 500 likes and shares, your reaction in the comments, subscribe to the channel. Let me show you the paper trail Spain tried to burn. The Archive of the Indies in Seville contains 43,000 boxes of colonial documents. Most have never been digitized. Most have never been translated. But in 2019, a team of Filipino researchers, led by Dr. Ambeth Ocampo, gained access. What they found in those crumbling manifests, shipping logs, and tax records is the greatest theft in human history, and it's been hidden for 500 years. Here's the first document that exposes everything. The 1586 Relación de las Islas Filipinas by Miguel de Loarca. He was a Spanish official in Manila, and his job was to catalogue Philippine resources for the crown. Listen to what he wrote. There is so much gold in these islands that if it were all gathered, it would exceed all the gold of Peru and New Spain combined. The natives pull it from rivers with their bare hands. Every village has mines. Even the poorest families possess golden jewelry that would ransom a Spanish duke. Gold everywhere, rivers filled with it, families wearing fortunes. And Spain's response? Organized extraction on an industrial scale. Within 20 years of arrival, Spain established forced labor mining operations across Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. They called it the encomienda system, but it was slavery with paperwork. Spanish records show the locations of 287 active gold mines operating between 1570 and 1800. The richest were in Paracal, Camarines Norte. This single region produced what Spanish accountants called 40,000 castellanos of gold annually. A castellano is 4.6 grams. Do the math. That's 184 kilograms of pure gold every single year from one mining district. At today's gold prices of roughly $65,000 per kilogram, that's $12 million per year. For 230 years of operation, that's $2.7 billion from Paracal alone. But Paracal wasn't even the biggest operation. Mambulao, also in Camarines Norte, was larger. Baguio had mines predating Spanish arrival that Spain immediately seized. Surigao del Norte had open pit mines so rich that Spanish priests wrote, "The earth here bleeds gold." Masbate, Ilocos Norte, Benguet, Davao Oriental. Spain documented 287 mines, and those are just the ones they reported to the Crown. How many illegal operations existed? How much gold disappeared into private Spanish fortunes and never made it into official records? Here's a document that reveals the scale. The 1698 tax ledger from the Manila Customs House shows that in 1 year, the colonial government collected 127,000 pesos in gold export taxes. The tax rate was 20%, the royal fifth, which means the total gold exported that year was 635,000 pesos worth. 1 peso in 1698 contained 27 grams of silver and was backed by gold reserves at a 1:16 ratio. Running the conversion, that's approximately 1,072 kilograms of gold shipped in 1698 alone. Multiply that by 250 years of colonization. The numbers become incomprehensible. But gold wasn't even Spain's biggest haul. The real fortune was in the galleon trade, the Manila-Acapulco route that operated for 250 years. Every year, sometimes twice a year, massive Spanish ships left Manila loaded with Asian goods, bought with Philippine gold and silver, destined for Mexico and then Spain. The cargo: Chinese silk, porcelain, jade and ivory, Indonesian spices, cloves, nutmeg, cinnamon, pepper worth their weight in gold in Europe, Japanese katanas, lacquerware and folding screens, Indian textiles, diamonds and precious stones, and Philippine products: gold jewelry, pearls, exotic hardwoods, and woven textiles. Here's what Spain doesn't want you to calculate. A typical Manila galleon, like the San Felipe or Nuestra Señora de la Concepción, carried cargo valued at 2 to 3 million pesos per voyage. In today's currency, accounting for inflation and commodity appreciation, that's $400 to $600 million per ship. The galleon trade ran from 1565 to 1815. That's 250 years. An average of 1.5 successful round trips per year. That's 375 voyages. At an average of $500 million per cargo, that's $187.5 billion in successfully transported goods. And remember, that's only the ships that made it. The 309 ships that sank. Add another $154.5 billion sitting at the bottom of the Pacific. But here's the part that makes economists' jaws drop. Spain didn't pay for any of this. They extracted the gold using Filipino forced labor. They bought the Chinese and Asian goods using that stolen gold. They transported it on ships built by Filipino laborers in shipyards using Philippine timber. Then they sold it in Europe for massive profits and kept 100% of the revenue. The Philippines received nothing. Not infrastructure, not education, not investment. Spain's official policy, documented in the 1594 Royal Decree, was extract maximum wealth, minimize expenditure. Colonial accountants were penalized if they spent too much on the colony. The Philippines was a mine, and Spain was the thief. Let me show you specific treasures that were stolen and where they are now. The Golden Tara of Agusan, discovered in 1917, but originally looted in the 1600s. This 4-pound solid gold Hindu-Buddhist statue dates to 900 AD. It was found in Agusan del Sur, proving pre-colonial Philippines had advanced goldsmithing and international religious trade. The statue disappeared into a private collection after discovery, but Spanish records from 1623 describe golden idols of heathen gods being melted down and shipped to Mexico. How many golden taras were destroyed? We'll never know. The San Diego Shipwreck, salvaged in 1992 off Fortune Island. This Spanish warship sank in 1600 during a battle with Dutch forces. Inside, archaeologists found 34,407 artifacts, including Ming Dynasty porcelain worth millions, gold chains and jewelry, Chinese Celadon pottery, Japanese katanas, and coins from China, Japan, and Spain. Everything in that ship was bought with Philippine gold, and it's just one of 309 wrecks. The Nuestra Señora de la Concepción sank in 1638 near Saipan. Salvaged in 1987, the cargo included 1.3 million pieces of Chinese porcelain, tons of raw silk, gold bars stamped with Manila mint marks, and 200 chests of gemstones. The salvage company sold the artifacts for over $30 million. The Philippines received zero compensation. And here's the treasure that drives conspiracy theories wild: Yamashita's gold, allegedly hidden by Japanese General Tomoyuki Yamashita during World War II. The theory claims Japan looted Philippine gold that Spain had already looted and hidden in caves and tunnels across Luzon. In 1988, Rogelio Roxas claimed he found part of the treasure in Baguio, a 2,000-pound golden Buddha and crates of gold bars. He sued Ferdinand Marcos for stealing it from him. A Hawaii court awarded Roxas $43 billion in damages, confirming the treasure existed. Where did that gold originally come from? Spanish mines, looted twice, first by Spain, then by Japan. But here's the treasure still waiting to be found, documented in Spanish archives but never recovered. The San Jose sank in 1694 off Lubang Island. Manifest shows 200 tons of silver, 50 tons of gold, and uncounted Chinese treasures. Never salvaged. The Santo Niño de Cebu sank in 1733 near Romblon, carried gold from Masbate mines and royal tribute. Never found. The Santissima Trinidad sank in 1762 during the British invasion of Manila. Manifest lists emergency evacuation of Manila treasury, gold, silver, jewels, and sacred artifacts. Location unknown. There are 309 documented wrecks. Maybe 40 have been found. That leaves 269 Spanish galleons, each carrying hundreds of millions in treasure, somewhere in the Pacific. Treasure hunters have been searching for decades. But here's the legal nightmare. Who owns a Spanish ship that sank while transporting stolen Philippine gold bought with stolen Philippine resources? Spain claims salvage rights under maritime law. The Philippines claims it as national patrimony. Salvage companies claim finders' rights. UNESCO says it's protected underwater cultural heritage. Meanwhile, the treasure sits undisturbed while lawyers argue. But let's talk about the treasure that can't be recovered because it was melted down and spent. Spanish mints in Manila and Mexico processed Philippine gold into coins. Between 1581 and 1821, the Manila Mint produced an estimated 400 million silver pesos and unknown quantities of gold doubloons. These coins circulated worldwide, funding Spain's European wars, financing the Spanish Armada against England, building palaces and cathedrals in Madrid and Seville, and paying for Spain's colonial wars in the Americas. The Philippines financed the Spanish Empire for 250 years, and historians just brush past this fact like it's a footnote. Here's the calculation that should make every Filipino furious. Conservative estimates based on Spanish customs records, shipping manifests, and tax ledgers show total extraction of 47,000 tons of gold over 333 years of colonization. That's 47 million kilograms at today's price of approximately $65,000 per kilogram equals $3.055 trillion. Add the value of other resources, silver, pearls, timber, spices, labor, and you're approaching $4 trillion in total extracted wealth. Now here's the thought experiment. What if Spain had paid the Philippines fair market value for those resources? What if they'd invested even 10% of profits back into infrastructure, education, hospitals, roads? The Philippines today would have a sovereign wealth fund rivaling Norway's. The education system would be world-class from centuries of investment. Infrastructure would be advanced, built with 400 years of continuous development. There would be no foreign debt because the country would be a creditor nation, and the standard of living would rival Singapore or Switzerland. Instead, Spain left the Philippines in 1898 with 80% illiteracy, 0 universities teaching modern science, no industrial infrastructure, no paved roads outside Manila, and a subsistence farming economy. After 333 years of occupation and $3 trillion in extracted wealth, Spain's parting gift was poverty, and they called it civilization. But here's what gives me hope. The evidence is surfacing. The archives are being digitized. Filipino historians are translating Spanish documents. Underwater archaeologists are mapping wreck sites. DNA studies are confirming gold trade routes. And a new generation of Filipinos is asking the uncomfortable question, where's our money? Some are calling for Spain to pay reparations.